Today we have Dr. Sudarshan Balal with us. He is chairman of Manipal Hospitals Group and Stemputics Research Private Limited. He is a renowned nephrologist in the medical field for almost 5 decades and a recipient of many accolades for his service to mankind. He was awarded the prestigious Rajotsava Award by the government of Karnataka for his contributions to the field of medicine. He has numerous publications, national and international journals. He has also been invited as a speaker at many national and international forums. Doctor, thank you so much for being with us today. So we wanted to talk to you today about the link between obesity and COVID-19 and the role of diet and exercise in combating the problem. So we know that there is an established link between obesity and COVID-19, and pre-existing conditions like hypertension increase the risk of poor outcomes in the pandemic. So doctor, could you talk to us a little bit about what is the importance of managing these conditions with or without the threat of a pandemic?
At the outset, a big thank you to all of you for inviting me to be here. I have been a great proponent of spreading wellness rather than treating illness. I think, unfortunately, we imported the Western concept of treating illness rather than creating wellness. And creating wellness can be done at a fraction of the cost. And it's just not affordable, not only to us, but any country in the world to treat all the illnesses in the world. And hence, it's in our hands to maintain our well-being. And these are all what we call as lifestyle diseases, be it obesity, diabetes, hypertension, cancer, so on and so forth. These are all well within our control if we lead a healthy lifestyle and have enough exercise. And this has attained all the more importance now in the COVID era. As you are aware, now COVID has taken over the world and the world has turned topsy-turvy. Never in my career of 5 decades have I seen any pandemic that has hurt every aspect of our life, including simple pleasures of like going and meeting a friend, having a drink in the evening, or going for a movie with the family. None of these things can happen, and more so even healthcare workers. And the healthcare industry itself is badly affected by the COVID-19 virus. And this may be the first time in the history of any epidemic where healthcare sector has suffered the maximum, in addition to the hotel industry, airline industry, and of course the tourism industry. So now there are 2 aspects to COVID and healthy lifestyle. One is that we know that people at high risk for getting very sick with COVID are people who have lifestyle diseases, and this should not be forgotten. And these are obesity, diabetes, hypertension, kidney disease, heart disease, cancer, so on and so forth, all of which are in some way related to your wellness and also your lifestyle. So hence, this may be the right time for us to emphasize the need for a healthy diet, healthy lifestyle, try to stay away from this disease. The second aspect of COVID and lifestyle diseases is that now COVID has taken preeminence in the healthcare industry, such that non-COVID illness is being sidelined or being given a very stepmotherly treatment. And my constant appeal in all the programs that I am in is, just because COVID has taken over the world doesn't mean that we should let people die of non-COVID related diseases or lifestyle diseases. Please do not ignore your lifestyle diseases during this time of COVID. Please maintain your follow-up, please maintain your diet, your exercise, and more importantly, please make sure you consult with your dietary specialist or your fitness guru or your doctors, even during these times, because you cannot let go of your health just because there is COVID around the corner. And the last aspect of this is that because of COVID now, people are at home. They're bored. When you are bored, you normally eat or sit in front of the TV. So you become a couch potato and your stomach becomes like a potato. So you start gaining weight, you don't do exercise, you're depressed, you're bored, and this adds to your lifestyle problem. So hence, please be extra careful in this COVID era to maintain your lifestyle, be in touch with the people you need to be in touch, and even though you're homebound, maintain a certain exercise routine and a dietary routine so that you don't start gaining weight and let go of your diabetes, hypertension, and weight problems. So please be extra careful during the COVID era, more than what you were in the normal times.
Yeah, doctor, I think that definitely, you've sounded off the alarm bells, and it's fair warning for us that now more than ever, it's extremely important to take care of your health, especially through diet and exercise. So coming to the nutrition aspect, At Healthify Me, we propagate that calorie counting is one of the simplest and most scientific ways to monitor your diet and to make sure that you're eating only your required calories. Do you think that this is a recommended method, especially during the lockdown phase, when, like you said, food is predominantly comfort for so many of us?
No, this you bring in a very important aspect. I mean, I like to have very simple explanations in life. And whenever patients come and tell me I'm gaining weight, I'm unable to lose weight, I tell them there are three aspects to your weight gain. Your weight is like your bank balance. It depends on how much money you put in, which is the calorie counts, how much of calories you take in. That is your deposit to your bank account. Two, how much you spend, which is your exercise and the calorie expenditure related to the exercise. The third thing which most people don't realize is the interest rate. For instance, you and I may eat the same, may do the same exercise, but you may gain weight differently from me. And they say, but my friend or my wife doesn't eat as much as I do. She's still gaining weight. So I tell them there's something called an interest rate, which is good in your bank balance to have a high interest rate, but we are constitutionally different. You and I may eat the same, exercise the same, but my constitution may be such that I would gain more weight for the same calories and the same calorie expenditure than you are. So that is something that we have to keep in mind. But the fact remains that you will not gain weight unless there's an input and less output. Your constitution, whatever it is, you will never gain weight unless you eat enough and spend less. So that is very, very important. And I think calorie counts is something that we lose track of, especially when we slacken up. So if there's a reminder, like if I have to get up at 5:30 in the morning and do my routine work, there has to be an alarm that wakes me up. Otherwise, I might just sleep till 8:30 or 7:30. So also, if your calorie counts tell you you have reached your quota for the day, your bank balance and your abdominal fat will get more and more if you don't stop now. So I think calorie counts and an account of how much calories you expend is probably the most important thing, in my opinion, to watch your weight. And not only watching your weight, also lead a healthy life.
I like the analogy. I don't think I'll ever forget that about your weight being like your bank balance. So thank you for that. So just going a little deeper into what are some of the data points that you can extract from your diet, right? With apps like Healthify Me, another element of that is you can really dive deep into your macro balance and the micronutrition that your diet is offering you. So you can understand a little bit more about what your protein, fat, carbs, and fiber intake is like. Given that so much of mitigating or having good immunity during COVID-19 is important, I just want to understand what are some specific micronutrients or macronutrition that we should look out for in our diet, maybe have a little bit more of.
I do a lot of work on healthy diets for you to remain healthy. And I had come up with a few S's that are detrimental to you. In the olden days, I used to say smoking was the number one cause of illness, followed by sugar, salt, stress, sedentary lifestyle, so on and so forth. Now I have moved sugar much higher. I think sugar is the new tobacco. So I think we have to make sure that we watch our carbohydrates in the diet. And this is where I think it's important that people know what they're eating, not just the quantity, but what is it that they're eating? What are their macronutrients? I may have 1,500 calories, all of sugar or carbohydrates. Certainly that is far, far worse than that being balanced between protein, some fat, and some little amount of carbohydrates. So I think it's not the total calories alone that is important. It is also important what the macronutrients are, how much of carbs are there, how much of refined carbs are there, how much of fat and how much protein is there. And I think this is something that organizations like you can help patients or individuals balance their diet. In addition, there's a lot of micronutrients that are important. People may not pay enough attention. And there is a fair amount of talk about micronutrients, many of them boosting your immunity like zinc, and also some of the supplements like vitamin C, garlic, so on and so forth. So I do not know how far they'll actually boost your immunity or prevent diseases, but certainly there's no harm in taking them. They're innocuous substances, and if they are going to boost your immunity, so be it. So I think it is important not only to know the total amount of calories you take, but also what constitutes these calories. If it's all sugar, then you're in a bad shape. I mean, you certainly need to shape up and get your diet changed to more protein, some fat, and less sugar. So I think someone warning you or at the end of the day telling you, it's like your money again. Where have you invested it? If you have invested it in the US, you won't get any interest. If you have invested in mutual funds or FD in India, probably you'll get more money. So I think it's not just having the money, it also depends on where you've invested it.
Right. And I think just going about our daily life, there's no way to tell really unless you are logging it somewhere and you have some data feedback to tell you that, hey, you're probably like reaching your limit of sodium. We definitely are able to, even again, an app like Healthify Me, we have water trackers. We can tell you how much sodium is there in your diet and how much you should be having. So it's great to know that that's something that you believe is important. And coming to lifestyle precautions, are there any specific lifestyle precautions that someone with underlying disease should take during this time? Could you share your thoughts on that, doctor?
So, I mean, you have raised a very important question and something that's very close to my heart. I keep sort of talking to different people about the COVID pandemic and how we should deal with this. And of course, one of the things that I keep saying is that we have to look at what's called as reverse isolation. Reverse isolation is a condition where we isolate a group of high-risk individuals against developing the disease, unlike isolation of a patient who has the disease. There you put the patient in a isolation so that he or she doesn't spread the disease to someone else. Here we put people who are at high risk of developing the disease or at high risk to develop serious forms of the disease, separated out from the rest of the world. And these are the people who have lifestyle diseases, as we pointed out. People with obesity, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, kidney disease, cancer, and people who are immunosuppressed. So I think my suggestion is that all of us who are in this category should take extra precautions at this time, and we should self-isolate ourselves, because usually the disease coming to a younger population doesn't create much of a problem. But if one of these high-risk categories develop the disease, they might get into acute respiratory distress syndrome, get into the ICU, and unfortunately sometimes lose your life. So this is a new concept of what we call as reverse isolation of people with lifestyle diseases. Again, I emphasize most of the high risks is people who have lifestyle diseases. Of course, age is not something that you have control over, but certainly you have some control over your biological age. If you have a good lifestyle, your biological age will be far better than your chronological age. We see some people who are 80 who look like 50, and some people at 40 look like they're 70. So I think biological age is certainly very important. But if we have a good lifestyle, avoid lifestyle diseases, then your risk for COVID or risk for serious forms of COVID will be far better.
That's great to hear. And also just some closing thoughts, doctor. So when it comes, I think all of us, this is the first time we're all seeing a lockdown of this scale, and we're all doing a lot of things for the first time, like working from home. So that means our lifestyle is more sedentary than ever. And there's also just a unprecedented level of stress because of the pandemic. So do you have any closing thoughts or any advice or words of comfort for us?
Sure. I mean, I think first of all, no pandemic lasts forever.
Okay.
All pandemics have to come to an end. So I'm sure this too shall pass. It's just a matter of time. And we have, when I was a student, AIDS came into the US and everyone was petrified, mortally scared. But now we take it as another disease like a flu or something like that. No one is really very concerned about it. Be as it may, we still need to take precautions. There are two strong messages I want to give as far as COVID is concerned. First is, I think, the fear psychosis and stigmatization of COVID we should get rid of. I think that's causing more damage than the virus itself. Second is extraordinary care of your lifestyle, because COVID is a disease which has made you stay at home, stressed you out, maybe depressed you. And whenever we are depressed, we eat more. Whenever we are stressed, we eat more. And then you stay at home, you don't walk around. You only are glued to Netflix, Amazon, whatever. And all the ingredients of making your fat increase in the body, become obese, and cause more problems. So all the more reason now, during the COVID era, please pay attention to your lifestyle, both what you eat, how much you eat, and what kind of exercise you do. And I'm sure organizations and apps like yours will be our alarm clock that will remind us throughout the day, time to say no to cakes, pastries, chocolates, maybe more of an egg white or chicken, and more sitting up, running around rather than lying down and watching TV on a recliner.
I think that's nice. You know, what I'm hearing is that if you do your due diligence, there's not much to worry about.
There's one more thing I'd like to add in general. A lot of people ask me during interviews as to, are we very close to getting a vaccine? Is the vaccine going to be a savior? And to me, the best vaccine that we can have is people being careful. If you wear a mask, if you follow the cough etiquette, you avoid crowded places, wash your hands very often, keep your surroundings clean, there's a 95% protection against COVID, which no other vaccine will give you in the near future. So control of COVID to a large extent is in the hands of the public. And what we do believe is that this is the time to use digital technology. Most of us now have ramped up significantly our teleconsults. So I think Manipal Hospital itself has done maybe close to 10,000 teleconsults in the last few months, when it was in a few dozens before that. So I strongly recommend anyone who requires any help, be it nutrition, exercise, or medical illness, please use the digital technology. Do not unnecessarily go to hospitals. And once you have contacted someone, once you had an e-connect with the person you need to be in contact with, let them decide whether you really need to go to the hospital or not. Most of the times it can be managed through an e-consult. So I certainly goad you to use the technology. This is the right time to ramp up technology, avoid crowded places, avoid unnecessary travel, and maintain social distance.